Hello, year 3. I hope you're well and worked through the dividing by 2 work from yesterday. Today we're looking at dividing by 5. This builds on skills you will have developed in year 2 and should help you as we work towards dividing by 10 and dividing by other values later in this unit of work. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do is, you can see me now, sorry, I turned myself off. I'm going to go through some slides to explain the skills that we're working on today, and then I'm going to ask you to complete some worksheets, and then the office and Mr. Day will have emailed you to ask you to send them through on particular days. If you're not sure of anything, just give us a shout. Okie dokie, here we go. Okay, now, first of all, we've got to use some of our knowledge of our 5 times table. So I know lots of you have used TT Rockstars in the past and have shown how wonderful you are at the 5 times table. So we've got 3 different types of question here, similar presentation to yesterday's questions with the 2s, but the idea is we've got our number sentences to begin with, where we complete 3 times 5, 5 times 6, 9 multiplied by 5, and 5 lots of 0. After that, we're going to circle the numbers for number 2, which are multiples, so which are in the 5 times table, and see if you see any patterns within those. And the third challenge for you is to look at those orange dots, which are an array, and to see how many different groups of 5 there are. So if you can pause the video and have a go at doing those 3 tasks, please. Okay, so having a look now. For number 1, we're going to go through the answers for our 4 questions. So we've got 15 is the equivalent to 3 multiplied by 5. We've got 9 lots of 5 are 45. We've got 5 times 6 is 30. We've got 5 multiplied by 0 is 0. Whenever we see 0 as one of our factors, our product, our answer will always be 0. It's a bit of a well-worn thing. Now, as most of you know, I'm normally a year 6 teacher at the moment, and some of my year 6s accidentally don't remember that. So if in year 3 you remember that whenever you times anything by 0, you get a product of 0, you'll be ready for year 4, year 5, and definitely year 6. So remember, 5 times 0 is 0. 1 million times 0 is also 0. If 0 is a factor, your product is 0. For our multiples of 5, we'll have a look at the answers and then see if we spot a pattern about them. Okay, so we've got 20, 40, 35, and 10. Now with 20, 40, and 10, see if you spot a pattern about them. I'm sure all of you have shouted the 1's value is 0, so well done. Those are also multiples of 10, but 20 with 2 0, 40 with 4 0, and 10 with 1 0 all have a 0 in the 1's placeholder. Now for 35, it has a 5, and all of our multiples of 5 have either a 5 or a 0 in the 1's column. Okay, when we go up our number line, we only ever touch values which have a 0 or a 5 in the 1's value if they're multiples of 5. For our array question, we can see that when we circled or kind of looped round our groups of 5, we've got 2 groups of 5 there. Okay, so we've got 2 groups of 5. Now we're going to develop our skills now as we work through some more work, and we'll develop our skills about how we divide by 5 a little bit more. Now we've got this friend here, Whitney. She's got 35 cubes. She's going to share those cubes into 5 equal groups. Okay, so she can be sharing into 5 equal groups. And as we look through, we can see those 35 cubes. And what she's done there is she's split up a table into 5 sections. So she's then able to split them into 5 equal groups. Okay, she's made sure they're all the same, and she's made sure that it's clearly that there's none left over. Okay, so in each group, she's counted that there's 7. So we know, therefore, that 35 divided by 5, where we split it into 5 equal groups, leads to an answer of 7. Now, slightly different way around doing it now, where she's grouping rather than sharing. And this time she's got her 35 and she puts them into groups of 5. So she's still thinking about her 5 times table. She's only looking at groups of 5, but she wants to know how many groups she'll end up with. And here she's got 1 group, she's got a 2nd group, a 3rd group, a 4th group, a fifth group, a sixth group, and finally a seventh group. Okay, so she ends up with 7 groups. And here, what we learn is that 35 divided by 5 is 7. So she can make 7 groups of 5. Okay, so we've looked at sharing and we've looked at grouping. So sharing is where we split them into a value of groups that we've been told in advance, and grouping is where we put the same amount of cubes in each group. Okay, so we put groups of 5. Okay, sharing and grouping. That's similar breakdown of the skills from yesterday. Okay, we've got Conquest. It's a little bit late in the year for Conquest, but I'm sure in autumn you're all going around picking them off the floor and utilising them for lots of fun. Okay, now if we've got these 15 Conquers and we're sharing them into 5 equal groups, we're going to have a look at how many would be in each group. And secondly, we're going to think about if we group them into 5, how many groups we'd get of 5. So first of all, sharing, and secondly, grouping. Okay, so if we look at our 15 Conquers, we group them into 5, we share them into 5 equal groups. Have a go at doing that. You could draw that on a piece of paper if you want to. And then have a go at grouping 5 and another 5 and another 5. And see how many 5s you get with your groups of Conquers. Yeah, she says on the screen cubes, it should say Conquers. Sorry about that. So we can see as we go through how many we end up with. And eventually you see that those 5 equal groups are going to have 2 Conquers in each, but they're going to be 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. And they're equal. We can see they're all the same. Although they're slightly differently orientated, all of them have 3 in. So each equal group. Now here we've got our 15 Conquers again, a group of 5 of them, another group of 5 of them, and a final group of 5 of them. So we end up with 3 groups of 5. 15 divided by 3, which is the first one where we shared it by 5. Sorry, 15 divided by 5, where we shared it by 5, is 3. And the opposite way around, where we divided it into groups of 5. Okay, this array, this picture shows a value which is 6 along and 5 down. So 6 times 5. Okay, because we can see at the top it's 6 along. So in your head, I'm sure all of you have straight away gone and said the value, which is, well done, you shouted it out. So 6 times 5. So you see the 5 there. 6 times 5 is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. I'm sure all of you said that before we worked it out. But well done. 6 times 5 is 30. So our factors are 6 and 5, and our product is 30. And therefore, with that outcome, that value which we had at the end, the 30, if we were to share it into 5 equal sections, if we were to share it into 5 equal sections, each section would have 6 in. Okay, so if we split it into 5 equal sections, each section would have 6 in. Okay, now on your worksheet, if you could now work through questions 1, 2, 3, and 4, please. Pause the video while you do that. And now we're going to carry on. And once we have a look through, we can have a look at this question relating to the farmer. We can see how many apples he's picked. He's been busy. He's got 25 apples. He puts them into bags of 5. So he makes them into groups of 5. So we've got to see how many groups of 5, how many bags of 5 he could have. For some of you, I know your number knowledge is there. You've got your multiplication fact that's going to underpin this understanding. Some of you might find it a bit trickier. That's great, because that means you can develop that skill today. So here, what you've got, guys, you're going to have a think about it. You're going to think about your knowledge. You might draw a picture. Pause the video. See if you can solve out how many bags of 5 you can make. Okie dokie, guys, let's do it together. So he's got 1 bag of 5, so that's 5. So he's got 5, and then he's got another bag of 5, so that's 5 and 5, which we know is 10 because we know our number bonds. And then we've got a third bag of 5, so he's got 5 apples, 10 apples with that second bag, and now 5 more, which makes 15. Well done. And 15, we then add another bag of 5, and we end up with 5, 10, 15, 20 apples in total. And then we add 5 more, so we end up with 5 bags in total. So he makes 5 bags of apples. Okay. Okay. And as we go through that, we can see jumping along that number line. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay. So we can see those number bonds, sorry, those number facts as we jump along that number line. Okay. Now, again here, we've got to think about our number knowledge. We know that when we do a division, it's the inverse of a multiplication. We know that when we do an addition, it's inverse of a subtraction. Okay. So working through these quickly, if we have a look at these, see what you know about 9 and 5 as factors, what their product would be, what you know about 12 and 5 and what their products would be. Pause it, try and work out what the gap is. Now we're going to have a go together. So we'll look at these and we can see that 9 lots of 5 we know is 45. So 45 divided by 5 makes 9. Here then we've got to do the same. We've got to look at 12 and 5. 12 times 5 we know is, well done, I could hear you all shouting out. 60, well done. Yes, so we know that 12 times 5 is 60 and therefore 60 divided by 5 is 12. Great job. Now, Amir has been building a tower. It's 25 centimeters tall. Okay, so far he's got 5 cubes. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those 5 combine to make it 25 centimeters tall. What I'd like you to think about now is if he adds 2 more, how big will his tower be? So see if you can work out how big each cube is, and once you've done that, see how many more, much higher it would have been, and then add that to the start value. So if we think about 25 divided by 5, have a pause, have a think. So we can see that 25 divided by 5 is 5, so each cube is 5 centimeters. And then we can add the 2 extra, so 5 more, and then 10 more, and now we've made it in 7 cubes in total. So 7 times 5 is 35, so now the cube is 35 centimeters. Sorry, the tower is 35 centimeters tall. Okie doke, hey guys, you've listened really well. Thank you for all shouting 60 out when it was the correct answer, and well done for learning about how our knowledge of our 2 factors together to make our product actually helps us with our division as well. Could you complete the rest of your worksheet now? And once you've done that, get somebody to photo it and send it through to the school on the day you're told to. Well done, Year 3. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you again maybe today or maybe on Monday. Okay, bye-bye.